Well, hello and welcome back to House of Papillons. I'm Terry, and I'll be your friend and troublemaker today. Remember this? We did it in January. This is our January gemstone mold, and I decided to make a little series that I'm calling Back to Basics. And as you can see, I've had this in my craft room, and I've got all kinds of fingerprints and just all kinds of goodness all over it. But this was a gemstone that we made. It was supposed to be a likeness of a garnet, and I thought it turned out beautifully. The color is just dead on. So I decided to do sort of a little series. I promised you that I would, and every month we're going to pour this mold in the birthstone for that month. So I'm calling it Back to Basics because I covered a lot of you know, the tips and things that are just the beginning of resin to try and get you started on your resin journey. And hopefully, it'll carry you through just some basic tips. And then you can increase your knowledge and go forward and just, create till your heart's content. But this month, hello, February babies, happy birthday to you. This month is the Amethyst. Now, last summer, I went on a trip to North Carolina, and we went to a mine of sorts where you could dig for your own gemstones. And I found this amethyst, and it's quite beautiful. I wanted to show it to you to just give you an idea. Everybody knows amethyst is purple. It's just stunning. And I wanted to show you how it comes, right out of the ground. So, or what it looks like when it comes right out of the ground. It's not always one shade of purple. I actually found another one that was very, very dark, like this darkest dot right here. And the geologists there told me that they called that grape jelly. They called that color grape jelly. Another friend of mine asked me if she could buy it, and I was like, no, you can't buy it. I'll give it to you. So I gave it to her. So I don't have that one to show you, but it was similar to that little streak in there. And, all these things are really, really cool to show. So what I'm going to try to do in today's pour is I'm going to just sort of simulate the way that amethyst comes out of the ground. We're not going to do it just in one cut. Well, we're going to do it in one color, but I'm going to teach you how to do an ombre effect, and that way your piece will not just be one solid color. It's the way that you can get different either different colors or different shades in what you're doing. So, and that's going to be today's lesson. It's going to be how to do a mold in 2 or 3 or more pours to get an ombre effect. And I'm also going to show you doming because I wasn't able to, we ran out of resin and I wasn't able to show you doming on the garnet, but we're going to show that today. So what I've done first, if you were unfamiliar with the beginning steps, go back after you watch this video and watch the garnet video, because the garnet video is the very beginning. It's what to do in the very beginning, how to heat your resin, which I've already done, how to add colorant, different colorants. We're starting out with regular 1-to-1 resin for these several pours, lots of pour. I don't know. There may come a time when we use a different kind of resin, but I'm really trying to get people used to, people who are newbies, people who have never done this before or done it very little. I'm trying to get you used to getting really comfortable doing regular 1-to-1 epoxy and figuring out all the things you can do with that. Then worry about moving on to deep pour and fast cure and 4-hour fast cure and all these other temperatures and things that you don't have to worry about that just yet. So the reason that I thought that an ombre pour would be a beautiful thing to do in this particular pour, is because what you can't see in this is down in there, in this mold, are facets. And you can if you put light behind it, because this is translucent. Like, you can see through it. You just can't see, I'm say you, we can't really see through this because the color is so dense, and that's how garnets are traditionally. But in this one, I want to be able to see those facets. So what I want to do is have the whole piece start out lighter, a lighter purple, and then go down into a deep purple, so that the deepest purple will be on the bottom, and it should reflect up through. But that way we'll get to see those facets, and it's stunning. I mean, this mold came from Laura's Art Corner, and do yourself a favor, go to her website, just peruse around at all the goodness that she has to offer, because I'm telling you, it's amazing. So for this project, I am going to use a color pigment. It came in a whole set of color. It's not an alcohol ink, it's just the pigment. So I've already mixed up. I heated, because believe me, it is so ridiculously bitter cold. I've only mixed 4 ounces. Now that's going to be way too much for the step that we're doing right now, but that's okay. I'd rather have more than less when it comes to resin. When I start adding my colorant, I'm going to add like 1 drop and see where it gets us. And if I need more, I'll do 2 drops. I tend to err very, very conservatively in the beginning with colorant, because you can't take it out. You can put more in, but you can't take it out once you've added it in there. So this is, like I said, this is a color pigment. And so I'm just going to start with 1 drop. But if you want to see all of the, these things tend to fall off, these little loops. If you want to see the very beginning, where to start, what to do, go to the garnet video, which was just last month. And of course, it shot on the side of the cup, because why wouldn't it? Because people are watching. Oh, my life. My life. And this one little drop didn't get us very far, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going. So I already have ideas for what I'm gonna do going forward, and how to increase your skills and help you just sort of break down all the parts of, how to do resin, and maybe you'll you'll become obsessed like the rest of us, because we're crazy people. Okay, so that was 2 drops. And I think I'd like it to be ever so slightly darker, but not too much darker, because I really do think, I have no idea how they made this mold, because it's all smooth down in there, so I only feel like they've probably figured out how to mimic the way that cut stones reflect light from the different facets, and that's how they got the facets down in there, because I'm telling you, the facets are everything. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I'm just getting this nicely incorporated in here, making sure it's not streaky, because when you're dealing with something that concentrated, it was a tiny little drop that we put in there. And, just always take a few extra seconds just to make sure, scrape the side of your cup the way I showed you in the first lesson. Do I want to go 1 more shade darker? I think I do. I just don't want it to hit that stick because the stick is going to absorb the color. And see, until you scrape it up and get it off the sides and everywhere, you really don't know what you have. Yeah, that's a good color. I think that'll be good. Now this is not going to be a one pour where you're going to, you know, pour it and then the next day come back and demold it. It's going to be, you know, a project where, you know, it'll sit there till you can pour your next layer. I would like to do 3 layers. That would be in a perfect world. And I'm going to have leftover here, but have no fear. I've got other things sitting aside waiting their turn to be to be poured. So there are lots of, I always have lots of little either pieces that are parts to other projects that I'm working on. And trust me, you will start doing that too. You'll have things sitting aside. So I'm going to put this in my bubble remover and I'll be back. Our first layer of resin is out of the bubble remover machine. Oh, this is nice and clear. Now, what I'm going to aim for in this very first layer, see the side of the piece? See how when you look down on it, there's a square top, a corner, if you will, right here. I'm aiming to pour it just about that far, and I'll be able to see on the side, because this is colored and this is a light, you know, I should be able to see on the side while that's happening. So I'm going to go high and very thin, not in a big rush to get it in there, because the theory is that doing a very, very skinny stream like this helps any bubbles that may be thinking about showing up. It hopefully helps them not want to show up. I'm probably, I would say, about 12 inches, 10 to 12 inches from the mold. And then also if there's still a bubble and it hits there, hopefully it'll pop when it gets there. I don't quite have it that far. So I started with 4 ounces for this layer. It's almost there. And I think I might stop there. With my leftover, I have the taller sibling mold to this mold, and this mold is in a set of 3, and there's a medium one too that comes, but they, you know, you can do them in 3. So I'm gonna do this. I had a few, well, I didn't have a few, I have a jar of them, but they're purple glass, crushed glass. Can you see down in there? And I put a very thin layer. It's not very thick at all. But I thought, you know, that might be neat to, because that way when it's in the candle holder, the darker part will be against the, you know, down here, and it'll get lighter as it goes up. That might be a neat look in this. We're gonna let this cure, and I'll be back. It's been about 2.5 hours since I did this first pour, and there are a few different ways that you can do an ombre or that you can pour into layers. If you, one is to obviously let the layer completely cure, then do the next layer. But there's also another way that if you catch the first pour when it's still tacky, or when it's sort of set up, but new liquid cannot permeate through it, I guess, will make it a softer gradation when it goes, you know, the different layers and colors. So how do you tell that? Well, in regular 1-to-1, you can wait 2.5, 3 hours and come in and test it. And I'll show you what I mean. Because you wouldn't be able to see down there if I tried to do it in here. We have our little candle cup mold. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to touch the top of it. I'm making sure that I'm trying to stay straight in the camera. Okay. And I'm just going to touch and lift up. And see how I get that string? It's not just the string I'm looking for. Can you see in there that there's a little hook there that's sticking up? Can you see the little, where it stuck up right there in the center? That's what we want. Now that's going to level itself out. That's not going to be there permanently because this isn't nearly, you know, as cured as it needs to be. There's a red piece of glitter in the middle of there. Go figure, not in my room. So that's actually, you know, that this is probably a pretty good stage. So we're going to go ahead and go on with our next layer. Now, I did 4 ounces again. As you can see, I also started another little cup over here. Is that something floating? I just want to make sure I don't have a hanger on. We did 4 drops of pigment in this first layer. I did 4 ounces, which was the same amount, because if I had, well, first of all, we're working on these cups too, but second of all, had I split the amount and said, oh, I'm only going to do 2 layers in this, or 2 ounces in this layer, then I would have had to configure the drops a little differently. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go one more and see what that gets us. So that would be 5 drops in this next layer. And remember, I'm going to do 3 layers, so I want the final layer to be that deep, deep, deep amethyst that we all... Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Wish I could really see one of them. Now, also, just something for you to have in your mind. If there's a point where you're like, I want to do this gradient thing, but, you know, I'm afraid to make it, you know, that I'll get it wrong, or that you're not going to mix 4 whole ounces just to put 2 ounces in there. You can get a little, I keep these, I mix a lot of things in these tiny little medicine cups. You could fill a little bit in there with your first layer. You could use that as your test little section. And then, you know, go in and compare. You could hold this up to that and say, oh, you know, wow, I like how that's doing its thing. I'm going to do 1 more drop. So far, that is 6 drops in the second layer of color. And if you're going to try to do this in the winter, just heat your stuff up. You know, get it really, really heated. This weather is just wreaking havoc. That's the color. That's what I want. This weather is just, you know, wreaking havoc with our resin. And I'm scraping the sides. I'm scraping the bottom. Don't forget your principles just because you've gotten into you know, the fun part. Don't forget your resin principles. And I'm going to put this in my bubble remover, and I'll be back in just seconds. We're going in with our second layer pour. And again, this is not going to go all the way to the top of the mold, but you know, also keep in mind we're working from the bottom. So we're working, this is the bottom of the mold. We're working bottom up. I just want to let it rest a second and decide how much of it I want to be the dark purple. Remember, this technique you can do in different colors. You don't have to do it in light to dark or whatever. This is an example of how you would pour something. You could do red, yellow, and green. You could do, I mean, there's a myriad of different colors and shades and whatever that you could do. This is just giving you another skill that you can use. And just use your imagination and go wild. So I will see you for the next pour. It won't take very long. Bye. It's time for our third and final layer. Now, when I came in here, I tested our little thing and see the point where I had made it come up. It's ready to pour the third and final layer. I have 4 ounces here so that we can finish this. Hopefully finish the 2 of these. We may only make it into that one, and that's fine too. I'll do something else with that. Like I said, I always have plenty of things in the works around here. So this layer was done with 6 drops. I'm going to automatically put 7 and just see what we see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a couple little spurts. Because we want that dark, dark, dark amethyst color. The grape jelly, as they call it. The grape jelly. This looks a lot less micro bubbly than the last mixing that I did. All right, that was a 7. We're gonna go for one more. That's 7. It's dark, dark, dark amethyst. It's still not that incredibly dark, though. I don't know if you can see it if I pick it up sideways. It's not, you know, I can certainly do another, whoa. I can certainly do another drop or 2. Now that's pretty dark. Is that as dark as we want to go? I think it's as dark as we want to go. All right, I am going to bubble remover machine. And I'll be right back. I'm going to stop just short of the top so I can demonstrate for you doming. And so we'll just get to the star of the show. So if I were to stop here, it's full. It's full, just like just like this was full, and it would be fine. If you don't want to dome, you don't have to dome. But I'm going to show you what doming is, because it'll give you a really clean, you know, ending usually. Now, you usually don't want to dome with handmade molds, because they don't have, because they're handmade and somebody had to cut it, you know, with an edge. It's not a machine cut object, so it's probably not going to perfectly dome for you. And it's just going to be hard to, you know, get out of the mold and all the things. But so I've got to turn this off in order to move it, but I will be back in 2 seconds. So as it is now, you can see that it is full up to the edge of the thing. And what you're going to be looking at is this rim here, because you'll see that this resin is going to come right up there, and it's going to slightly just make sort of a dome. And surface tension is what's going to hold the resin in there. And I'm going to pour really, really slowly. And then I got to adjust my hand. Carpal tunnel hands. And some people, you know, say it's the angle that I'm shooting this on is much easier to see doming. Now that is doming. See how it just raised up, and I just did it gently till it was right at that edge. Now, after you dome something like this, you do not spray it with alcohol. We're done with alcohol at that point. If you were to do that, it will break the surface tension that the mold is holding in, and it'll make it overflow. So we are done with alcohol, and I'll be right back to the other angle. I'm doing the the spare piece first. We're going a little backwards, but oh well, we'll get there in the end. Building the suspense. Come on, Amethyst. Let's do this. That mold is somehow dull or something. Well, no, I think I just got my gloves and stuff smearing all over it. Come on. Let's do this. Now remember, when you first demold, you don't admire your work until you put your mold right side out and adjust it. Right. Yes, dearie. There we go. Okay. Oh, I like those little stones. That's kind of cute, huh? That's kind of cute. Couple little snaggles there where those stones were down before the resin. That happens sometimes. I don't think it... Oh, look at the bubbles that were caused when I picked some of that. Remember I did the little test to see if it was cured enough to... or if it was still sticky. Oh, that's kind of cool when you stand it up, though. That's pretty. Oh, in my stash, I found some shorter candles. I think they're not in this room, though. We'll look at those at another time. I promise. Okay, how are we going to get a hold of this bad boy? When you dome things, like this is, you know, right up to the edge, so sometimes it takes you a minute to just get one little part loose, and then you can go on with life. Come on. Let's do this. Let me find something to... Sometimes I like to try and use these little plastic things because they're strong. There's times that I've pried things out because they're not going to scratch my mold, and they're not going to hopefully damage the piece that's in there. But they're, you know, they're strong and blunt. All right, come on now. Don't make me fast forward you so that I don't embarrass myself. I don't embarrass myself with people. Come on. Oh, all right, that's what I'm talking about. That's more like it. And you just loosen it all the way around the surface. And then you just get a hold of it and make it do its thing. Oh, I'm seeing some cute colors though. Am I even holding it where you can see it? Yes, I am. Come on. Let's do this. It's the suction down here in the candle part that's just not giving up. You know what? I should have turned all of this the other way. It would have made it easier. Because trying to drag it on that resin, it's going, no, I'm staying here. Oh, come on now. Come on. Let's do this. Okay. Oof. Good grief. Oh, I'm fixing my mold. I'm not breaking the rules. I'm fixing my mold. I'm fixing my mold because we got to do this many more times. I don't know what that is. There's something there. It might have been against the mold. But look at the facets. Look at the facets. I got to get something white. I got to get something. Well, I can get this here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. Because this is all light. Remember, that was the first layer. I have no idea what this is. There had to have been something in that mold that is, again, I don't know if you can see, there's like a weird little something there, but you don't really notice it, and you're not going to notice it when it has its little stuff. Oh, look at this little set. Is that not adorable? I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it. Look at the facets. Look down in there. Oh, that's on top. Thank goodness. It's everything. That's everything. That, stunning. Laura's Art Corner. Go get that mold. Okay, if you've been here the whole time, I appreciate you watching more than you know. We can see where we did dark on the bottom, sort of a medium in between, and they're really pale. This whole section up here is pale, but you can't tell that because all of those other colors are coming up through there. That's stunning. If you have somebody in your life that, or if you were born in February, you got to make one of these. That's everything. So again, I appreciate you watching. If you're subscribed, we can meet like this again. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And then we can do this many more times. Next month, March, is aquamarine, and I already have ideas. I already have my supplies for it. It's going to be, I'm hoping if it comes out as planned, it'll be gorgeous. But, man, this is, yes, please. Yes, please. So, like I said, like and subscribe. I call liking, when you like a video, I call that YouTube etiquette. So if you like the video, just give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.